Hello, Dr. Brad Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do. When someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask the Chiropractor. So today, I'm going to talk about a question I got asked at the gym when I was working out. I was over at my friend's place at Movement Fitness. That's where I go in the mornings to work out, and the person next to me was asking Coach Mason some questions. Now, Coach Mason is an athletic trainer and a strength and conditioning coach. So a lot of times when people are having ache or pain, they tend to ask him questions. And I was literally stretching right next to this person. And they asked Coach Mason, they said, hey, I've got this really bad pinching in back here in my shoulder. And it was really bothering me before, down my shoulder, down my neck. But now it seems to be going down my hand too. They said, Coach Mason, can you work on that? Take a look at that for me, see if you can fix it. And Coach Mason started laughing. He said, well, the guy standing next to you is probably the better person to ask. So, of course, they turned right around at me that were you listening? And I tried to act like I wasn't listening, but I was listening. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. So a lot of people come in, they say, I get this like pinching going between the back side of my neck, up my shoulder into my neck. And sometimes it goes into the arm and their hand, sometimes it doesn't. So let's talk about this situation, because I think a lot of people are dealing with this, and I think there's a lot of people out there asking, who should I go see for this? That's essentially what the person at the gym was doing. Are you the person to see for this? Who do I see for this? So let me tell you a little bit about how people get that, what we do as chiropractors, and then how we have help to take care of this too, besides just what we do. So how do people get this? Well, people get this little pinching in their neck and in their shoulders, typically from having what we call forward head posture. Now, forward head posture is when your head sticks out forward. Why does your head stick out forward? Your head tends to stick out forward because of the world we live in, because of the typing we do, because of the driving we do, because of the sleeping on our side that we do. You see, whenever you get in front of a desk or a computer, read a book, use your phone, use a tablet, you put your shoulders forward and your head out in order to access these things. It's just natural posture. You get behind the steering wheel, sit in a car, you sit down, your shoulders go forward and your head goes out. Just look at someone next to you. Wherever you are listening to this or watching this, look around the room. I guarantee you'll see somebody sitting, and when they're sitting, their shoulders are forward and their head's out. Now, what makes us worse is that we do this when we stand up today too. When we stand up, we're looking at our phones, we're reading a book, whatever we're doing, it creates the same posture. I keep saying reading a book because all too often people just want to blame cell phones and tablets on this. But reading a book does the exact same thing. I don't think anyone's immune from this. I think that we all have these things that we do that require us to do this. Like if you're riding in a car, if you're sitting watching TV, sitting in front of a computer, heck, sitting at church, you're still doing it. So a lot of people think, well, if I just give up TV, if I just don't use my tablet, I won't have these issues. I'm telling you, if you sit down to eat dinner, you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to be plate and fork, you're hunched over, you're doing the same thing. So this is just a reality of the world we live in. I've been in groups that wanted to ban tablets and phones for kids, thinking let's get rid of the posture, and I've suggested that not only should we get rid of that, we should also get rid of homework, we should get rid of textbooks, we should get rid of computers, and we should get rid of reading books too. Because to me, it's absurd to say you can not do this posture. Now, why is this worse today than it used to be? It's real simple. My grandfather was a chiropractor. Many of you have heard me say that, say with my father. Well, in Grandpa's day, a lot of people came in because they have lower back pain. And what we've done is we've created new chairs. We've got so much better chairs. If you don't believe me about the chair quality, how the chairs have been designed better so we can sit longer, go sit in like a 1970s car. Sit in a 1970s car and then get into a new 2023 car. And you tell me if the chairs haven't changed, all right? I know my first vehicle was a Ford Ranger with just a solid bench across it, and that was not very friendly to the spines. Today, they got bucket seats, they got lumbar support, some cars have chair massagers in them. We can sit now for so much longer time. Now we have time to develop neck issues. That's what I always teach. Grandpa didn't see the neck problems, he saw the lower back problems. They made new chairs, you can sit better now. Lower back problems are starting to not as frequent as they used to be, but the neck problems now are twice as frequent. Okay, so back to the subject. We're sitting down, we got our shoulders rolled forward, we have our head out. That creates the pinching in our neck and shoulder area. Now, this itself does not cause a problem. This does not cause pain, does not cause that pinching. But what this does is it teaches you a new posture, because people tend to walk away from that position and stay in that position. Now, when my head is forward and my shoulders are rolled forward, and I turn my head quickly, or I grab something heavy, try to lift the weight, try to grab something out of the front seat at a weird angle, bend and twist the wrong way, grab something out of a file cabinet. Now I'm in a vulnerable position to get injured. Now I did an activity which injured me. Now it hurts. And it doesn't get better, it tends to linger. Why? Because we keep maintaining that stressful posture. So if we had the better posture back, it maybe would go away faster. Or if I had good posture, then I did those things that injured me, I wouldn't have gotten injured because I had good posture. So you have to set yourself up for failure, then you have to fail by doing an activity. So, can a chiropractor help this? Absolutely. You go to a chiropractor, they should be doing some neck test on you, some shoulder test on you, possibly films to see what's going on. Usually with this, we also see what we call a subluxation. Two vertebrae are misaligned, and when they're misaligned, there's stress being released at that joint, and that stress hits that nerve wherever it's going and creates more stress. Now, when this is really bad, that nerve's really irritated, and that's why we have the problems down the hand. If it's not really bad, it's not as irritated, maybe you don't get as many symptoms down the hand. You can usually tell exactly what nerve it is depending on what fingers are involved. So if it's your thumb and your index finger, that's your C6 nerve. If it's your middle finger, that's your C7 nerve. And if it's the last two fingers on your hand, that's your C8 nerve. That gives us a clue where to dive in and start taking care of you. Of course, the films and our exam findings also help tremendously. So we'll go in there and we'll do chiropractic adjustments to try to restore the motion. Now remember, when the spine's under stress and it feels a weak spot or a subluxation, it'll fixate that. It'll keep it from moving to prevent further injury. However, it also prevents full capabilities of repair and healing. So your chiropractor is trained to go in there using the exact angle and precise adjustment to loosen it and get it moving again so the healing process can start. Now, when this has been out too long, you get a lot of muscle knots in your shoulder and your neck area. What happens is when the tissue's inflamed, tissue gets sticky. When tissue gets sticky, it makes adhesions. Those adhesions become knots. Knots create inflammation, which causes tissue to get sticky, which creates bigger knots, which causes inflammation, which causes tissue to get sticky, and go on and on and on. So those knots usually have to be worked out in order to speed up the recovery. Can you do adjustments alone and have this go away? More than likely, as long as you're really good on your stretching, you're limiting yourself to your negative posture. But who wants to wait, right? Who wants to sit around and say, well, maybe this will get better on its own, maybe it won't. So a lot of times your chiropractor will give you exercises, stretches, or maybe activities. Like a lot of times I talk about a tennis ball against the wall and you roll up and down against it, trying to break up some of those knots and those adhesions. Maybe a massage is what you need. Maybe a thing called a shepherd's hook, where you get in there and you dig in there and you get those muscle knots out. Maybe one of those little massage guns. This will speed it up. It won't cure it. So a lot of people come in, they tell me, hey, I've had a couple of massages, I've been doing the massage gun, or I've had working the tennis ball, and this is not going away. It's not going away because of the subluxation that was there ahead of it. You see, there's a specific order where we get good results with this. Step one, get rid of the subluxation, get the spine moving again so it goes into healing mode. If it's not in healing mode, it doesn't matter what you do to it. So we relieve the subluxation, get the nerves happy again. Now the body's ready to heal. Now it's ready to be repaired. Before it was still in protective mode, protected away, now you can heal. So usually you might go to a chiropractor several times right away, then it starts to decrease as your activities at home increase, your self-care increases. Now, you do all this care, everything feels better, it's gone away, thank you chiropractor, you helped me. Now what? Well, so you're gonna go back to doing those same things, right? You're gonna go back to your job, you're gonna go back to your lifestyle, you're gonna go back to sitting, driving, sleeping on your side, all those things. So we need to do a steady maintenance on this, as long as you do those things. So myself, I do a stretching routine every morning to take the pressure off my shoulders, because ironically, as a chiropractor, I spend most of my day in that position. So I have to constantly work on this. What does that include? Well, myself, I get adjusted at least every 2 weeks. I do a stretching routine 4 or 5 times a day. for me, it's kind of easy because I'm teaching you all how to do it. And when I teach you all how to do it, I do it myself. So it reminds me as I'm reminding you. So we're doing that for you and for me. So yeah, we do the stretching routine. I like laying down and doing snow angels on the wall every day, or on the floor or against the wall, and just have everything touch, go up and down. I do all kinds of things, but your chiropractor will work with you on what's best for you. Now, some people can get more aggressive. Some people don't need to get as aggressive. Some people, their posture and their x-ray looks pretty good. They just need a little more fine tuning. They're doing things more right than wrong. Other people have reverse curves or bad curves, and they need to do a lot more. So your chiropractor will discuss that with you. That'll vary from person to person. So if you know somebody with like a pinching up here, an irritation up here, the first stop should be the chiropractor. There are other places you can go afterwards, right? And that's the other advantage, like going to a place where you're working with a trainer one-on-one. That's, when I go to the place, Coach Mason, not only is the athletic trainer and strength coach, but he's also one of my strength coaches. So every once in a while, he has to remind me, even me, to, hey, make sure you're sticking your chest out, keep your shoulder blades back, work on that. So it's good to have people like that watching you when you work out to make sure you're doing it right. I highly recommend having someone watch you, even though I've done it my whole life. They still make me better every time I'm with them. I also recommend a good stretching routine. Your chiropractor can give you one to constant maintenance, constantly work on this, and periodic adjustments just to make sure you're not falling behind. So if you know someone that has this, they might ask their primary doctor or somebody else, they should go see them. Not everyone's as good as Coach Mason. Not everyone's going to tell you to go see your chiropractor, but this is definitely a chiropractic case. So please share this with somebody you know that might be suffering from this. Remember, if you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, the only person qualified to answer that is a chiropractor, nobody else. Just like you wouldn't ask anybody else about your teeth, only a dentist. All right, everyone, thanks for listening. Again, go to my website, rockforddc.com, ROCKFORDDC.com. I have tons of these podcasts on there to take a look at on my blog section. Other than that, stay healthy, stay strong, and if you need anything, ask away.